Tonight, we're taking a closer look at a bill in the Illinois House that failed to move forward after facing strong pushback from the beauty industry across our state. House Bill 3356 aimed to remove state licensing requirements for hair braiding. Well, tonight we hear from a local hair braider who says those requirements are critical. And we also explore how the long history of braiding is shaping the conversation.
I have seen the industry evolve. Things have changed so much.
Melissa Santillan is a local barber, cosmetologist, stylist, and hair braider. She's been practicing hair for nearly 3 decades in the Rockford area.
I think I started braiding when I was a child. I actually had an aunt that taught me how to braid.
And it's a service that she has become well known for in our area. In recent weeks, when she learned that the state was voting to remove licensing requirements for the very thing that she does professionally, her and her colleagues were not happy.
I felt a complete disrespect for our industry. We are a licensed profession, and I feel like we need to be held at a certain standard. And in order to service and in order to perform services on people in the public, you do have to have a license.
And her main argument is sanitation.
There are guidelines, there are sanitation rules. You have to know certain scalp conditions, diseases, disorders. You have to know the difference, how to properly sanitize tools. There's so many things that can go wrong, different types of alopecias.
Right now, if you want to be a cosmetologist or barber in Illinois, to get your license, you need to have logged 1,500 hours, and braiding automatically falls under that. Since 2011, however, professionals could opt for only 300 hours if they wanted to solely practice braiding.
Are they going to want to deregulate the rest of our industries? You know, cosmetology, barbering, nails, esthetician. I'm not sure, but this is a start of that. You know, it was a brand new licensure that did not have enough time to grow in our industry.
Legislators who introduced House Bill 3356 believe since braiding is taught across generations in the home, it should not be regulated. That's where NIU professor Dr. Abu Ba comes in.
Since it's tied to everyday living and care among African communities.
Dr. Ba says hair braiding dates all the way back to ancient Egypt and African cultures.
I think, to me, the question of regulation, first and foremost, has to actually recognize those two things as separate things.
He compares it to learning a language. There's a difference between growing up with it and learning it in school. He says educating people who grew up braiding hair might be a little much, nonetheless also believes licensing is necessary to run any business.
To require formal education for that, I think that is an overkill. It doesn't add anything to one's skill set or how you will do hair braiding. If you go to the business aspect of it, that is to regulate a salon, to regulate, then that's a different thing.
That's exactly what Santillan believes in.
I learned how to braid, and many of us learned how to braid, maybe not in our school. We learned how to braid at home. I believe when you start servicing the public, it is important to have a professional license.
She's honored to see that when people gather and speak out in numbers, there can be change.
It made me proud because for a minute I felt like I might have been one of the only people in my city that was standing up against this.
Santillan says she wants to continue to speak on these topics and also hopes to have a panel of professionals when future legislation does come to the table.